we started getting a lot of people reach out to us with very similar questions about other messaging apps. You have Signal, you have WhatsApp, you have Telegram that all end-to-end encrypted, right? What makes you guys different?
So today we're going to break it all down. How Port is different from WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, and Session. Let's go.
We should start with the big player, WhatsApp. 2 billion users, even more, I think.
Well, for them to achieve those network effects, it was very important that they used phone numbers. Almost all of your contacts ported over immediately. But the problem there is phone numbers are fundamentally irreversible. Once you share them, you can never take them back. So if you've shared your number with some kind of brand, a clothing brand, a grocery store, a pizza place back in 2018, 2019, they have it forever. And now that WhatsApp's letting more and more spam through, because that's literally their business model, you're beginning to understand why it's hard to connect over phone numbers.
Another issue is it's an attack vector for you. You'll find a surprising amount of information attached to your phone number, and with WhatsApp, they force you to give it out like candy to anyone who asks for it. And yeah, we don't want that.
And now weirdly, WhatsApp knows this. Their literal business model is managing spam just so much that you don't delete the app.
It's like the opposite of a dopamine hit. How much pain can we deal out before you leave?
So they're not trying to solve spam, they're just trying to figure out what the right amount of tolerance is so that they can make money while also keeping you on the platform.
Because of all of the shady practices that WhatsApp seemed to engage in, Signal was born. They took WhatsApp messaging, phone number based again, but they just encrypted your chat end to end, so their servers couldn't see it. Signal is great. It changed the game for encryption. I totally respect them.
Of course, we're both definitely fans of Signal. I mean, we love effectively all that they've done, and they changed the game in terms of end-to-end encryption.
I was the asshole in my friends group who forced everyone to move over to Signal a few years ago.
Yeah, but here's where we have to point out a certain differentiation. Now, people associate Signal with privacy, and yes, Signal is quite private, but there is a difference between privacy and security. And a lot of the challenges that Signal actually solved were security problems, not privacy problems. End-to-end encryption, yes, it does make your messages private from snooping, etc., but it's a security solution. Keep in mind that connecting over Signal for the longest time still involved exchanging phone numbers. And
they recently introduced usernames and masking your identifiers, but that has its own issues. Me and Ani were so surprised when that came out. We almost expected more from Signal. It's so asymmetric. It doesn't protect me, just the person connecting with me, because now I have no clue who they are.
Just to put it another way, think of security and privacy this way. Imagine everybody knows your house address.
You out in front of my house at 4 a.m.
But you have the most sophisticated lock to your house ever. That's security. Imagine nobody knows where you live and you have a very sophisticated lock on your house. That's security and privacy. Now in Signal, everybody knows where you live. Everybody knows your identifier, but the lock is really strong. Now what we're trying to do with Port is make sure nobody knows where you live and the lock is equally strong. Yeah.
Signal introduced usernames recently, and as well as masking your phone number when you reach out to someone, and yeah, we were quite surprised by how incomplete that idea was.
Yeah, if I have Abhi's number, I can still reach out to him, but Abhi will never know who I am.
I'm Batman.
Got so many messages from people in university who just gave me their name. It could be anyone. I have no way of verifying what is actually them. Even the phone number that I could have compared is gone now.
Yeah, so even if you can mask your phone numbers, the whole consent that's involved in forming a net new connection is still not solved for, which makes it kind of dangerous. A lot of people can reach out to you, you don't know who they are, but they know all about you. That's fundamentally kind of weird and dangerous.
I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger.
The way Signal changed the game, Telegram did the exact opposite. They confused every single person who uses them. Telegram by default requires you to submit a phone number. Well, you can submit a username, that's unique. But those have all the same problems that WhatsApp and Signal have. In fact, if you've used Telegram, you see messages every day coming in from weird people asking you if you have a credit card number and want to see some naughty pictures.
So the crypto community, which famously cares about its privacy, kind of is doing something out of character, which is relying on Telegram hugely. Telegram is not end-to-end encrypted out of the box. Telegram's large groups are not end-to-end encrypted. A lot of people think they are, but they're not. You can fundamentally not have such large groups and have end-to-end encryption. It is just not possible. You have to consciously toggle secret chats to turn on end-to-end encryption in Telegram. And Telegram does collect your phone numbers when you sign in, and they do issue you persistent identifiers, Telegram usernames for every user. So even if some people might not have your phone number when they reach out to you on Telegram, they need to have some sort of persistent identifier for you, which means anybody with those identifiers can spam you.
Related to this, pretty much any platform that uses a persistent identifier like this is vulnerable to the same issue. It only protects you while the app isn't big. The moment the app gains some traction, the moment it comes into the mainstream, that identifier is exactly the same as your phone number. It's a point of spam, and there's nothing you can do about it.
This is going to be a hard statement to make. Telegram markets itself as a secure and possibly more private alternative than WhatsApp, but technically speaking, I'd argue they're less secure and less private than WhatsApp.
In fact, a common thing is a false sense of security. When you think you are protected, without realizing you're not, you end up doing things that aren't ideal.
Yeah, and now let's go to one of the apps out there that's most similar to us, that's Session. When we do a lot of these videos, we keep getting the question, hey, how are you different from Session? Now let's break that down. Number one, use of persistent identifiers.
Well, let's start with the big selling point. Session doesn't require you to enter a phone number or a username when you sign up. It was great. But yeah, same issues as we just described.
You get a persistent identifier, a high entropy ID, that is your session ID. And anybody with your session ID can spam you.
Essentially, they cut out the telecom provider from it, which is great. You don't have them issue a 10-digit number, but now Session issues you, 60-digit number instead. Same principle, different problem.
Yeah, so Session didn't solve the phone number problem. They didn't solve the persistent identifier problem. They just moved it. So if Session does grow really big, you're going to experience the same problems you do on a lot of these messengers, which is spam and random people bothering you.
There are a few value adds that they have, which are unique. They hide your IP address from even their own servers by having a swarm in front of you, which basically masks your IP address. These are things that I do like, and maybe we should work into port one day, but it's not our priority right now. That's not the problem we're trying to solve. We're trying to solve one thing, which is how two people connect. We're not trying to make chat experiences better. None of that. We're just trying to make you and me talk and know we're talking to each other.
Yep, now let's get back to port. Our biggest innovation is not in chat experience, but in how people connect. WhatsApp might have made cross-platform messaging better, Signal made privacy and security better, but we are trying to make connecting better. We want to ensure every connection that happens on port involves some level of consent for that connection to happen so that users can never experience spam.
Yeah, we've come up with our own protocol, the port protocol, that connects two people to each other in what we call an authenticated identifiable manner. You can read about it on our website. We've got a lot of questions about that as well, and I've been doing my best to respond to people individually with it. Yeah, I appreciate all of the feedback.
So the key difference is port has 0 persistent identifiers. When you connect with someone, neither you nor the person you're connecting with expose any sort of permanent phone number, username, or user ID, nothing at all.
On port, every connection is fundamentally reversible. If you and I connect and I don't like you anymore, I press a button, disconnect, and you can't reach out to me unless I actively consent to that again. You can read about it on our website, and I've actually got a lot of feedback about it recently. I've been doing my best to respond to people one-on-one. We need to do better, which is why we plan on going open source and making it more transparent, making it easier for you to critique us, and well, maybe just enjoy us as well.
Yeah, public scrutiny is what makes any security protocol better. And we're going to open source everything really, really soon. We're just organizing our stuff, cleaning stuff in our code base. And yeah, for all those people who are asking, hey, how can I contribute to port? How can I audit your code base, etc., really soon.
We're working out the specifics of what license we're going to use, and then we will make it available for you guys to shit all over. It's fine if you don't like it. We can take it. I kind of enjoy criticism. Mani and I are masochists that way.
We want to make port connections feel as safe and as free as real world connections. So if you meet somebody at a coffee shop and they kind of weird you out or turn you off the wrong way, you don't end up giving them your home address so that they can find you later. That's literally what we're doing in the digital world. world. With every connection, we're giving them an address to reach us at forever and ever and ever. And port solves this fundamentally.
With port, we're not really trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not focusing on the chatting experience, we're focusing on the connecting experience. We do not have all the features that Telegram might have. We don't have in-app meme makers, but what we do have is a purely robust, purely reliable way to connect with someone in a very consensual manner.
And the important thing is, we are designing ways in which ports can be used in every situation that a phone number can be used in. So if you think of a way that a phone number is used, but a port cannot be used that way, it's an open challenge. Let us know, and we will come up with a mechanism the very next week.
At Port, we pride ourselves on making everything customizable. When you connect with someone, you get to decide if they see your profile picture, whether they can notify you when they send you messages, all the way up to whether they can share your contact with someone else.
You can even control whether they can call you, whether you're reading their messages. Everything's fully under your control.
It's how I make sure that my mom doesn't share my phone number with an auntie who calls me asking for tech support and how to fix their landline.
Here's the takeaway from this video. We're trying to create Port as this safe space for the people that matter to you, where spam is impossible and privacy and security are just default. So here's what we're asking. Just try the onboarding. We literally ask for no information. It takes 5 seconds to onboard. You just enter your name and you're done. That's it. No commitment, no personal info. Just see what communication feels like when you're actually in control.